Thank you for tuning in to Cryptids, Creeps, and Conspiracy podcast, where we delve into crazy creatures, evading extraterrestrials, horrifying haunted places, the unexplained, and the conspiracies that surround them. The following content will more than likely involve explicit language and materials, so listener discretion is advised. For bonus materials, uncut video versions of the episodes, and other great perks, go on over to patreon.com/cryptids, creeps, and conspiracy. Dollars for disclosure, half Sawbuck Snally, and Paranormal Posse members will get a shout out on the pod, access to the private Discord server, as well as more perks that you can find in each tier. However, if you are using an iOS application, I suggest that you sign up through a web browser to avoid the 30% fee that is charged through the app that is not at all related to the podcast. You will still be able to listen on the app, even though you sign up through the browser. So grab your rose colored glasses, skeptical suits, and hold onto your butts as we teleport into the realm of the CCC podcast. Hope to see you soon. Ever since I mentioned the kids, it was going nuts. Hi, guys.
No, you're absolutely
Oh.
right. When you mentioned the kids, that lit up.
This will be behind the scenes for my Patreon. Man, I think it's going bananas. What does that say? Visit. Yes, you're visiting. Hi.
It said visit?
Yeah. That is really. It goes, yeah. He goes, did it say visit? It goes, yeah. They are on one. Welcome back, everyone. We have yet another brand new guest. I'm super pumped. And let me tell you, if you guys are not subscribing to the Patreon feed and watching this video, do it because her makeup is banging right now. And her hair is just nice, curly, like cute stuff.
We FaceTimed at the crack of dawn my time here in Australia this morning, and I did not put my camera on because I looked like a bridge troll.
Oh, horse hockey. Anyway, she looks marvelous. And just a disclaimer for everybody out there, I am already on my third glass of wine, 2 shots of vodka. And over there, we're time traveling, okay? So when you're listening to me, you're on a Thursday night. When you listen to her, you're on a Friday morning. So this is like a weird Twilight Zone.
And I'm on my second coffee of the morning.
So she's got 2 coffees. I've got a lot of wine and vodka. So we'll see how this goes because I'm going to be the one reading.
We should flip it one day. We'll flip it one day.
We definitely should do it like backwards. I did put another cat sensor down here by Parapuppy, who is going batshit crazy right now. Spirits love this thing. And I hand make him. He's leaning back like he's taking a nap.
That's awesome.
But I hand make him.
Oh,
I crochet all of them. And I tell people all the time that he gets a lot of activity and things like him. And they're like, oh, this thing has, ever since I mentioned my kids being here, this thing is going bananas.
It's gift for that person that has everything.
This is Miss Gemma from, oh my goodness, I think my fridge is haunted.
We call ourselves a very creepy podcast for very creepy people. And thank you so much for having me on. We're in this sort of group of podcasters and we're acquaintances, but we've never officially really met before.
But did you, wow. Sorry, that happens occasionally.
I heard a whisper.
Did you?
Yes.
Maybe that's why my ear was weird.
That's weird. I'm recording as well. I'm going to go back.
Where can they find you?
Okay, you can find us on YouTube. You can also find us on Spotify. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Podbean, like all the places. Just look up, I think my fridge is haunted. I've been covering the mushroom trials. In Australia at the moment, in Victoria, the state where I live, there's a big trial happening at the moment, a legal trial. It's a triple murder case. And it's this lady, she had this Sunday lunch at her house back in July of 2023, and she invited her estranged husband's parents and his aunt and uncle, and 3 of them died from poisoning. And basically in the lunch was death cap mushrooms. So that triple murder trial is happening at the moment. So I'm doing a weekly wrap up of the triple murder, the mushroom case. It's just called the mushroom case or the mushroom murder.
That sounds like it should be way more nefarious than it is. So this thing goes podcast. Yes, we're recording the podcast. I told you they love podcast time. And it wants my hands. That's why my hand's over here. Which is weird because as soon as I put it over there, it felt warm.
So if you come over to my fridge is I think my fridge is haunted at the moment. It's basically all mushroom case. But when we get back to our normal seasons, what we love more than anything is dark history. We are
Oh,
obsessed with dark history.
me
So
too.
Salem witch trials, bubonic plague. This season we've got a few ship related ones like plague ships. We've got and also volcanoes that have erupted in history. We love dark history. So it's that very traditional radio station setup where there's all glass windows and you can see into the studios and you can see people like
Ooh.
presenting and stuff. There's studio 1, studio 2, and I'm in the podcast room. Someone was recording late one night because sometimes like people will literally come in like at stupid hours to pre-record their shows. And someone was in studio 2, and we just like when we walk in to go to our rooms, we just wave, hey, we're
Yeah.
going. And someone waved at someone going into studio 1. And then later, when he finished his show, he went to just pop his head in and just go, hey, I'm off now. No one
Yeah.
was there. No one.
Oh,
No one
I
was
do
there.
that all the time. I'm like, hi.
And studio 1 is at the end of the hall. Like you cannot leave without going past studio 2.
Oh, that is so crazy.
Yeah.
I work at a funeral home. So I get all
You
kinds of
do?
fun stuff. Yeah.
Wow. That must be interesting.
This is off Nexus Newsfeed titled Retired Government Trapper Reflects on Cattle Mutilation Phenomenon.
Okay.
Phenomenon. All right. Let me see if there's anything. Sometimes it gives me dates and times, but I don't see that. Anyway, hold on. Excuse me. Needed that. All right. A retired government worker who's then he can leave. Oh shit. I should not say that. Last time I said that, all my power shut off.
We don't want that right now. We need the
Okay.
power.
He can go as long as he leaves the power alone. All right. So, retired government worker who spent decades fighting animal depredation, in the Rocky Mountains recently reflected on a phenomenon that puzzled him throughout his career: cattle mutilations. For a staggering 42 years, Mike Hogan was reportedly a hunter and trapper for the U.S. Department of Agriculture, Wildlife Services in Montana and Nevada. Throughout his
So
story,
trapper being like, say, for farmers, oh,
catch
we've
and
got a
release.
coyote problem, that kind of thing.
A trapper is a catch and release situation.
Like coyotes.
Yeah, like
I
it
don't
might
know.
be. It's if they have an animal that gets out that doesn't need to be there. Like you call and you're like, oh, there's a big snake.
Gator boys. On
Yes,
Gator Boys
there's an
in Florida, they're
alligator in
like,
my
hey,
pool.
there's an
Yeah,
alligator
it
in
would.
my pool. That's
Yeah,
exactly what I was
unless
saying.
it's hunter and trapper, which I don't know. I don't know his thing.
I get the gist.
Throughout his storied career, he kept a journal wherein he detailed some of his more unusual and exciting stories from the time of taking down various creatures, such as bears, coyotes that have preyed on the rancher's cattle. So he goes in because something is eating or something is attacking their cattle
Right.
or whatever.
Yeah.
So he goes
Yeah.
in to remove them so that they stop destroying cattle.
Exactly.
And following his retirement, Hogan turned those recollections into a recently released book called Between Predator and Prey: 42 Years a Government Hunter. Included among the reconciliations featured in the memoir, is a chapter that the retired trapper was initially, oh my gosh, reticent.
What?
My brain just lost it on that word. Anyway, to include as it centered around his encounters with cattle mutilation cases, explaining that ranchers in search of loss compensation often called to him to examine downed animals to determine what the cause of the incident was.
Who are you going to call?
Ghostbusters.
Ranch trapper. So that's the thing. Who?
It's like a claims adjuster, but for animals.
And aliens.
Yeah. But it does say that he conceded that these particular moments left him scratching his head. And it says, quote, all I could ever say was that I didn't know what had caused them. The seasoned investigator also recounted, quote, but that they definitely weren't the work of predators or cults, end quote.
Those damn Robertson brothers
See,
are always getting up for stuff.
I just think it's funny that he made sure to put out there it wasn't a predator and it wasn't a cult.
It's the satanic panic, isn't it? It's people are still obsessed with people who wear black needing to apparently cut cows' eyes out for Satan. It makes no sense, but they're still obsessed with that.
Try being a person that has premonitions. It's what you want? Okay. That's what they want. Maybe it's them that's giving them to me. But mine is, it's only certain people and it's only certain times. I have no control over it. So it's not every baby that I know. It's just certain ones.
Yeah. I have on 2 occasions seen on 2 elderly people. This is a bit of a random one. I've seen ectoplasm come out of their hands, and a couple of weeks later, they had passed away.
Okay, that's not cool, but it's really cool. So,
did that just say simple?
Yes, it did. I have an old lady that hangs out here, and she's not a fan.
They probably see it as like consorting with the devil.
Yeah, which is ironic because she's the one telling me.
Yeah, but she's probably like one of those like really old, like very Catholic, or maybe she's a Puritan.
She's not that old. She's old in a sense of fairly modern. I would say she was elderly in probably judging by what the mental. She had a heart attack, apparently. Heart attack is what I just got. Thank you. Her name's Gertrude. I don't know how to search through the records, so please, yes, I'm sorry. But she likes to tell me to keep it down. I'm too loud, or I'm vulgar, or
you're sinful.
Yes, she very much so is very religious, I think. She's elderly, probably, I want to say like 50s, 60s.
Okay.
Is the vibe I get from her.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's a little on her high horse most of the time. I don't know. But anyway, back to cattle mutilations.
Yeah. Tell me more about the cattle mutilations.
At a recent book launch event in Montana, Hogan further expanded on the peculiar phenomenon. He explained, quote, just couldn't explain. That was a really useless quote, but okay. He indicated around 30 years ago, every summer, he saw curious clusters of around 10 to 12 mystifying mutilations before the activity would suddenly stop. And then
did you say?
Yeah, it was Montana and Nevada.
Those places are notorious.
Yeah. Oh, notorious. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all that these are there. And it says, quote, it's just a pretty strange deal. He mused, noting that the incidents occurred on locked property with no sign of human activity left behind after the strange slayings. Additionally, echoing insights from independent researchers who have studied the phenomenon, he observed that the unfortunate animals were cut with surgical precision and that scavengers had screwed their remains, spread them. Scattered them. So something cut them surgically and then animals ate them, which that's what animals do, right? You find a carcass, you eat it because free lunch.
Exactly.
But that's the end of this one. This one's a little shorty, but I thought it was interesting.
So, are we thinking aliens, Bigfoot, Mothman, Beast of Bray Road?
I'm thinking probably if it's surgical precision with no human aspect and no predator being, because even if it was, say, I don't know why Wendigo's popping into my head, but Wendigo, thank you. Then you can leave if you want. Just leave my lights on. And if it was something like that, it would have still looked like a predator. But he's saying surgical precision. There's no footprints. There's no anything broken. The gates are still locked. Nobody broke in. I'm thinking they're probably leaning towards aliens.
Exactly.
Yeah. It doesn't go into a lot of details other than cut with surgical precision and just mutilation. So I'm like, are they disemboweled? Are they chopped and quartered? What?
See, this is the thing. I think what he's trying to tell you is you have to buy the book to get more details.
You know what? That tracks. But that's the first one I have. Oh, man, my jaw is like killing me. Don't you? We make dirty jokes on the podcast.
I was gonna.
Go for it. No bars, whatever.
Just holds barred.
Yeah, thank you. Oh, I can tell you it's not from that, unfortunately.
Maybe
But
just a spot of tetanus.
I,
Yeah.
all right, now you can open the first link.
Ah,
There's a
excellent.
little awesome drawing right out of the gate. You got an awesome drawing.
Glasses time.
Oh, and I would like to point out
Mm.
that I have not moved. Nothing has changed in this room, and that K2 meter is silent now. So something was hardcore. It doesn't feel like there's as much going on over there either.
Are you?
We're
It's
on saucer
saying
shaped
that
UFO.
which
Computer. Yes, we're having issues on the computer. There you go. So this one is, it is bright. Sorry, I'll turn it down. Sorry. My phone's really bright. Actually, I was trying to turn down. Thank you. All right. So I know you're touching me. Can we not? All right. Saucer shaped UFO with glowing orange dome on thin black base. Queensland. Oh my gosh, this is perfect.
Yeah, I saw
Australia.
Queensland, Australia.
January 10th, 1979, O'Brien's Creek near Mount Surprise. Wow, that's a good name. At 1:20 a.m. Yeah, surprise. I'll give you a mountain surprise. Okay, awesome. You rock. All right. So then it says during the early part of January. Oh my God, I can't. I can't. All right. So I'm talking about being mounted and surprised, and this guy's name's Mr. D. Oh,
Where's a paranormal pervy Paul when you need him? He
yeah,
must love that.
it's bright. Leave them. Witch. Yep. There's Gertrude. Hi, Gertrude. She calls me a witch. The one that I have that's an old, I think it's a generational demon that just hangs with me.
Yeah,
Part
you
of the
know what,
family.
Gertie? That's actually we don't actually consider that to be a insult.
We like you. Thank you. I like you too. You don't consider it to be a what?
We don't consider a witch to be an insult.
Joshua. Hi, Joshua. Move over. Joshua, move over. Witch, we like you. I'm aware. Or no, I said, we like you. And I said, oh, I like you too. And it goes, I'm aware. And then it goes, I understand. Joshua, move over. During the early
You
part
know,
of what?
you know what freaks me out about this sighting? He had been asleep in his
I haven't
caravan.
read this yet, by the way. So I have no
I'm
idea what you're
just
talking about.
do you want to go ahead? Go,
We
you
can
read it. You read it. You read
yeah,
it.
we'll get to that. When I get to the van, we'll stop. All right. During the early part of January, Mr. D, Royal Navy, was camped in the Towpax Fields approximately 26 miles away from Mount Surprise. The sighting occurred on one of the few nights it didn't rain in the area. Mr. D had been asleep in his caravan under an open window. Oh,
Well,
never
it's
mind.
very hot in
Gotcha.
Queensland.
Oh, it hadn't rained. He's in a van. The vans have windows. The windows probably rolled down. After waking up and after waking and sitting up in his bed, Mr. D saw a small light approaching outside from the Georgetown direction.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking this up on a map.
Okay. So at first he construed this as some tourists in the area, but then realized he was completely cut off by floods. Wait, it didn't rain in the area.
Okay, so just for clarification, I've just looked this up. This is actually in far north Queensland. It's a very tropical, it's a rainforest area. So it's not Australia like
you.
deserty, dry area. It's actually it's probably very humid where he is.
It's definitely not down under.
Actually, it's funny you say
Or
that.
is down under the
I think if you want to visit Australia, go to far north Queensland. It is so beautiful. It is so Australian. It's just so wonderful up there. And I highly recommend anyone that's coming to Australia, forget Sydney, forget Melbourne. Yes, we have coffee. It's wonderful, whatever. And we have great shows that you can see. You can see a musical and everything. But if you want to see beautiful Australia, go to far north Queensland. It's beautiful.
he's up there. He's in a place where rain, but this says there's a few nights that it did not rain. So he had the window open. What I don't get is
Oh, and
caravan.
it's January, so it's rainy season.
Yeah, well, what I get
It
is
rained like it's like crazy hot, crazy humid,
uh,
lots of rain up there at that time.
the opposite of here where it's snowy and cold.
Yeah. Oh, you will not
Gotcha.
get snow up there. No.
Literally day and night. Hey, hey. Yeah, have another drink. Woo! But that's what gets me because I'm thinking it said it was revolting. Okay, so it did not like that joke. He was asleep in his caravan. Okay, is a caravan different from you guys? Because to me, it's a Jeep Caravan. It's a fucking van.
Where does it say Jeep?
No, here I sold cars for a while, and we had a
Oh,
Jeep
right.
Grand or
So
Jeep
a
Caravan. Or,
caravan is like you have like an RV, but it's one that's like detached and you tow it behind your truck.
thank you. We call that a camper.
A camper, yes, a
Okay,
camper.
okay. So I was like, how the hell did he sit up in bed if he's in a van? Okay, never mind. It's because it's a camper. Okay, all right.
In 1979, it's probably really little. It's not what we have now, like these
Maybe
luxury
that's a
campers and
surprise.
stuff. Yeah, it's probably literally just like a bed and like a little table and some room to put like a kettle on or something like that. There's probably not a lot to it.
My eye just got really blurry. I can't see out of one of my eyes. Hold on. Okay, I guess I'm just gonna read this fucking one-eyed. Cool.
Do you
Awesome
want me
sauce.
to go? Do you want me to go ahead and read it?
Yeah, go ahead. We'll skip over the picture and just go a little bit till I can maybe get my eye back.
Just so that the people listening can get an idea of this picture. The picture is very simple. It's basically a line, a horizontal line with a half semicircle on top of it. That's all it is. So,
Oh,
so at
the hovering
first,
orange.
when Mr. D saw a small light approaching outside, and he thought they were tourists. But then he realized that there had been floods and that he was basically stranded where he was. And I guess he's probably one of those people that they go out bush and they'll live there for a couple of weeks or a few weeks or whatever, and they're totally fine. So he lit a cigarette and decided to go outside because he wanted to know what this light was. And then stepping outside, he walked around his Jeep where he, quote, almost had a heart attack. About 300 feet altitude and 300 to 400 yards distance was a huge, round, yellow-orange light. Mr. D said he stood watching this object for a considerable time, in which he smoked several cigarettes. So he's getting a show.
That's awesome.
Now, this is interesting. He noted that no sound or beams of light emanated from it. So it's hovering of its own volition. It's obviously not got a motor, anything like that. And it hovered stationary. During the entire sighting, Mr. D's 3 dogs just lay nearby, wide awake without moving, which is odd because you would think they'd be going crazy. And he thought that was strange because they were always at his heels. At one point, Mr. D thought of using his gun, but decided that could prove a mistake. Because back in the day, see something weird, shoot it.
What do you mean back in the day? We do that. It's
Well,
called
in
it's
Australia
called
back
the
in the day.
Midwest. So say here you shoot first and ask questions later.
Oh, really? Yeah,
Yeah, you don't get a chance to fuck around before you find out.
we don't have a lot of guns here since the 90s. So
That's unfortunate.
he said the object finally began moving and assumed a, quote, saucer shape with a glowing orange dome on a thin black base. Sounds like a burger.
It looks like the top half of a burger. Yeah.
Which, or a fried egg. It's like you're looking at a fried egg.
Oh yeah, sunny side up or whatever.
Sunny side up. And that's why it's orange.
This is all making sense.
It moved to the northwest, disappearing behind some hills. So it's floated off behind the hills. Mr. D suggested the reason the object approached may have been because he had what's called a hurricane lamp burning outside his van. So it was the only light in are really far.
Yeah.
People don't live out there, so it's
What's a
dark.
hurricane lamp?
I don't know. So I'm gonna presume that it's like a
Googling.
lamp. It's probably a lamp that you can use because up there that's hurricane country. So you can probably use it in a time of a
Oh my
natural
gosh, it looks like a
disaster.
kerosene. It's a kerosene lamp.
Okay. So it's like something that you can use without electricity, probably, I would presume.
You got the wick. You have the kerosene at the bottom, and you pull the wick down, and then you soak it in the wick, and then you roll the wick out, and you light the top of it.
Oh,
No, we're not in
right.
Canada. We're talking about Australia, and you
Yeah.
light the top, and you can make it lighter or dimmer or brighter or dimmer depending on where you
Yeah.
roll it up and down. But it's really good to use. We use those here.
I
Oh God,
have
Nursery's here. She's telling me to be quiet.
I I have like a recreation one that runs on batteries at
Oh,
home.
I just have a bunch of candles.
Okay. He stated that it might have been the only light for about 100 square miles, and
Oh
he
wow.
estimated the size of the fried egg UFO was moon size to approximately a 20-cent piece at arm's length. So 20 cent, oh God, I don't know what size your coins are over there. What's your biggest coin?
$50, or you mean a quarter?
Maybe a,
Quarters like
I think
this.
I know. Yes, so that's like our 20-cent piece because a quarter's
Okay.
like, yeah,
Ours is
yeah.
25.
So it's like that. If you put that at
He goes,
arm's length,
I go, ours are 25. And he goes, Dick.
so he actually saw this sighting. This sighting actually lasted an hour and a quarter. It's a pretty sizable event.
That is, I'm like, oh.
That's an interesting one. I've never heard that story.
That is. So, what I think is crazy. Oh my God, I literally just got my baby. Do you need it? I think Pervy Paul's back.
That's paranormal pervy Paul right there.
But what I thought was crazy was I do have a thing. It says hovering, and you got the weird. It looks like a circle. It's just a round circle. What if that was just because it was turned sideways and that glowing dome was face? Yes, it is round. Thank you. And it's like the glowy part was facing towards them because if it's nighttime and there's no lights, like the black ring would just essentially disappear.
It must have turned at some point for him
That's
to
what I'm
see
saying.
that
Maybe
aspect.
hold on, look at where did when it turns over, did it say that it moved before it turned into the black at the bottom and orange at the top? Began moving and
Well,
assumed a saucer shape.
if you look at his two illustrations, there's one of it completely round
Oh, that's a little
and one of
arrow,
it
isn't it?
flat.
I was wanting to know when the transition was in the story, but it does. It says that it moved, and that's when it looked like the sunny side egg. So it might have been flat with the dome part facing him, and then when it flipped and it started to move, it turned itself over. Because that would make
Hmm.
sense if you're looking at a black. I got my ring light right now, and if you're looking at it from this way, you wouldn't see the black ring. You would just see the orange circle. Then when it moves, then you would see it. So that makes sense. That makes sense to
A
me.
different perspective of it. Yeah.
With it being so long, did they? He probably didn't have cameras and recorders or anything like
Absolutely not.
that in the
No.
70s. That's just so interesting.
I think this is a guy with
And he's an ex Royal Navy person.
he's ex-Navy. He just wants to go out bush, not talk to anyone. He's probably just got his dogs and a cup of tea,
Yes,
and he's probably gonna want hunt some wild boar and cook those on his little stove, and he's happy.
I would be too. But
He's that guy.
yeah, like you said, he's ex-military. And so for me, I hold a lot of credit there for ex-military because a lot of times they've been out in these places. Okay, that is not cool. I got she will touch you, and then it felt like there was like something back here. But
Mm.
I'm not touching you. But I feel like they
Not that.
don't. Now it did disguise as. Thank you. Please continue. It. He did disguise his name, but most of the time they are a little more hesitant. I feel to come out because
Yes.
of that stigma that's attached to it. So when
Uh-huh.
I see a military get up, like a witness that's coming forward, I feel like there is a little bit more gusto to their story. No offense to all you people
Mhm.
out there that aren't, but it's just to me because, like I said, we're getting. He knows the footage. He knows how far he is. Those are all things that if you threw me out in the middle of the woods, I'd be like, shit, I don't know. It's about that far. I don't know. Like it could be. I'm like, yeah, it's totally 10 feet. It's really like 100 yards. I'm like, I don't fucking know. Like I have no idea. But the fact that he could do that distancing and the timing and knowing how far what is and using the 20-cent piece as a marker, that to me adds a lot to it, just
Yeah.
personally. But what I did think
Yeah.
was interesting also was is he doesn't mention, yes, we're recording. It doesn't mention anything in the dome. It just has the dome. And
I
usually you
don't think
hear
it was
something inside.
I don't think it was close enough for him to be able to visualize if there was like a driver or whatever.
So that's true. But
Mm.
if it is that far away, that's a pretty good distance. If it's like a quarter and the quarter's the size of the moon, you got to be a hot step away from that sucker. You know what I mean?
So up in Queensland, there is another phenomena that's known up there called the men lights.
I
And
know about these.
right, it's the same state. It's probably a good say 10-hour drive west to where those are, but
Okay.
it is still what's a 10-hour drive to a UFO? Nothing.
Yeah.
Um,
Is there?
yeah, that when you sent me that article and it was like, all lights in the sky up in
Yep.
Queensland, that's what I thought about. And I'm pretty sure the Northern Lights were viewed like in the 80s, 90s. So
I feel
yeah,
like I put them around that.
yeah.
So, what do you think the odds are that this is something other than a UFO? What else could possibly, you're familiar with the area at least. Is there anything out there that could potentially be mistaken as a floating orange ball?
Not out there, not in the wilderness. I don't think we even have what are those little bugs that glow?
Lightning bugs,
Like, yeah,
fireflies.
I fireflies, like I've seen fireflies, but not in Australia. Mm.
Also not orange.
Um,
They're yellow.
the ones I
At
saw
least
were
ours
green.
are.
I've seen ones in Europe and they're
Oh,
green.
they're like very neon
Yeah, they're
esque.
really cool. They're
I
awesome.
used to squish them on the sidewalk to watch their butts glow when you squished them.
Yeah, that's horrible.
Well, I had nothing to do. I was in a small town.
It always makes me think that, oh, it looks like tiny people in the grass are like checking their phones.
You know what? That makes sense. And that almost makes me feel bad about squishing them all. Almost.
The humanity.
It's fine. There's plenty of them out there. I'm sure that's what everybody thinks of us when we die, right? There's plenty of them out there. It's fine.
Should we go on
Oh,
to the next one?
yeah, I was
Because
going
I
to
think
ask you a question
oh, go ahead.
on this one because I don't remember. It didn't say how this thing was moving, right?
It
Whether
said
it
that
was
it makes
erratic or
yeah, that's a
like
good point,
flat. Because if it was
actually.
like an airplane or something, I just try to look at all different things that we could come up with here.
All he said that it was hovering and then it went over the
Okay.
hill.
It wouldn't hover if it's an airplane.
No.
All right.
And that it made no sound. And so I think it's just that really classic
Yep.
flying saucer, that
Yep.
classic flying saucer. It's hovering and it went out into the distance. Whereas a lot of times, like you'll say, oh, it went crazy and it was like doing all
Yes.
these like flips and twirls and things, and then it went off like real fast. Not with this one. Maybe it was like just conducting recon.
Maybe it was picking up one of them cows.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, it's like maybe it's just picking something up. But yeah, I just figured I'd ask that because like I said, I try to come up with everything, even if I poke holes, even if I don't believe at all what my theory is, I want to at least throw it out there because I know there's somebody out there being like, you didn't mention that. My
Yeah,
show, yo.
yeah,
Do what I want. Okay. So the next one, I sent you that link as well
yeah.
because it's got a
This
really
one looks
creepy picture
cool.
on it.
It's got a really creepy picture, and I'm excited.
So it says massive UFO sightings and tall gray humanoid reported in, we're just going to say Michigan because there ain't no way in hell I'm going to say that.
Otonagon County? Otonagon?
See, and I would have said it Otonogan,
Otonogan? Oh,
Michigan.
it's in Michigan.
It's in Michigan, y'all. It says it goes uncertain. Thanks. They don't even know. So it
O
starts off. Oh,
County. Oh, it's the OC.
yeah. Hold on. Is this really one? This is a whole giant quote. Okay. It says, I got my neighbor, her children, and grandchildren to witness the UFOs with me. One of the kids reported seeing a tall, light, gray, human like creature, creep, with a large, funny shaped head go running very fast across the lot behind my home. And it says,
Okay.
I received the following account. And this is all one big giant quote. And I would like to point out this literally happened on my birthday last year. So that's
But this
funny
is
that
really recent. This is
yeah,
just happened.
6, 7 months ago.
Wow.
And I would like to point out that I randomly scrolled, like I doom scrolled and randomly selected 3 stories. One was cattle mutilation, one was in the country you're in, and the second was on my birthday, or the third was on my
Yep.
birthday. So what are the odds that happens? All right. So it says I lived in whatever county, Michigan, on September 26th of last year. Something happened that I couldn't believe. I was in my home around 9 to 9:30 p.m. and I heard a car running, so I went out to look. I found 2 cars pulled over on the side of the road with a third one pulling over too, but I couldn't see what they were looking at until I looked up.
So
Oh my
this
gosh,
is
that's
multiple people are seeing this thing.
yes.
I love that. I love that.
There's one person saying they saw it. I don't know if the other people acknowledged it yet. Because we've had
Okay.
that. I've heard accounts where there's 3 people, but only one sees it. So it says there's
Okay.
and this is all caps, massive amount of UFOs flying all above the field behind my home. They were, all caps again, not planes. I grabbed my video camera and started filming. What? There's no film attached to this. Anyway, so I started filming.
Yeah, where's the film?
Yeah, bitches. There was no sound except for crickets, and I even captured a large triangle that hovered, and another UFO landed on it and then took off.
See, that's classic UFO sighting, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know if I've ever heard of anything landing on something else. So he's catching a triangle on film, and the UFO it's almost like it's refueling. So you have the
It's like
triangle, it lands, and then it takes off.
it's like it's a mothership or like
Oh,
yeah.
oh, my friend would kill me if he knew that I was stuck on this, like a battleship where the Air Force parks their planes, lands. Oh my gosh, parks their planes. Land. He's gonna
A
kill me if he
hangar?
ever hears this. Where
Aircraft
they,
hangar?
yes, aircraft hangar. Thank you. So they go and they can refuel and everybody hangs out on the boat and then they take off. So maybe
Right.
it's like a astral version of that. Paul must be in
This
here.
reminds me of a case from the 70s. It was a guy by the name, his surname was Lovelace, and the book was called Encounter at Devil's Den, and it was down in I want to say Missouri or Texas or somewhere around there. And I think it was Missouri actually. And he went on a camping trip with a friend, and they were military actually. And they saw this giant craft. It was like a city in the sky, and that had like smaller craft inside as well.
I
Just
think I know what you're talking about. Sorry if I'm staring off. I'm visualizing. Sorry, sometimes I stare into the great abyss because I'm thinking.
it's
I
a
know.
great. It was really strange.
Okay, yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to cover that one.
Mm.
Yeah,
I'll send you a link.
Thank you. Yeah, send me that one. He then says there were so many of them I could not film them all. They were coming from all directions, but they usually come from the field. Which sorry, that didn't seem like it was right. They were coming from all directions, but they usually, I think it should have been came from the field. Anyway, which is due west behind my home. I got some
Mm.
shots with 2 or 3 in the same shot. Planes cannot get that close to each other without crashing. While all this was going on, the satellite on my TV kept being interrupted and had to be reset. Oh, I hate when that happens. Also, the battery to my video camera, which is an 8-hour battery, had about a quarter of the charge left and then suddenly died. So if it's 8
Which is
hours, half of
why
8 is
we don't
4.
have the video.
So he should have had 2 hours.
Yeah.
and he's just now filming this and it dies. I've had that
Mm.
happen to me. I went in and charged it some, but when I went out to film some more, it suddenly went dead again. That's weird. Subsequently, for no
Mhm.
reason, the footage was not in the memory. That's why we don't have it.
Exactly.
The next night, I went out to check again, and there was activity that night as well, the 27th, just not as much. I
Mm.
got my neighbor, her children, and grandchildren to witness the UFO with me. One of the kids reported seeing a tall, light gray, human like creature with large, funny shaped head go running very fast across the lot behind my home. I'm just, okay. Have you ever seen the movie Signs?
Yeah, yeah, I love it. I love that movie.
Okay, the one really creepy scene in that movie is where like the
In the
aliens like
corn, the
cross the
birthday
in the
party,
alley and it like turns. Yeah, and it like just turns as it's like walking,
and you
only
see the
really
flute
fast.
disappear into the corn.
Yeah. It's just there's one that's they go for the worldwide. So it's all this stuff that's all these films from different places. And the one's like an alleyway and it like or something and it walks and it looks at the camera. And
I
that's the
love that
being that
movie.
I am picturing. Just
Yes.
really fast. Like
Really, yeah, really creepy.
and so that was just that's just really weird. It says I did not see this, so I cannot say whether it was real or not. Oh, that's it. We'll get back to that. And I'm little, and I'm a little inclined to believe that because my neighbor and I both have had someone or something outside of our homes the last few nights, we were unable to catch whoever it was. That's also interesting. I think this place
Okay.
really needs to be investigated. The field behind my home is never worked by farmers, never mowed by anyone, yet the grass and weeds never seem to grow. And when looked at from above, like on Google Earth, it looks like there's possibly some sinkholes. And I know some is that right? Art,
Yeah, Wells.
artisan, wells, artesian, whatever. My whole village is above hundreds of, oh, Jesus, these wells. And maybe that's why they are here. I hope you get a chance to read this because it was amazing. Sincerely, MH. So that is the encounter that he's having. And if the
Oh, it's
kid,
where an artesian well is it's a well that brings groundwater to the surface without pumping.
I warned you.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. It just died. Yeah.
Oh, there we are.
Okay. Sorry for the delay. I told you they kill the internet.
That was weird. Mm,
I got artesian wells are wells that get water because they don't pump, and that's about all I got.
all right.
I got pressure, and then you froze with a super kissy face in the word pressure. It's cute. Not gonna lie.
So maybe they're attracted to these bodies of water that come up through the earth.
That doesn't require any action to get.
Right.
Or what if it is whatever, if that area is set up to allow for that many wells to function that way, there might be something else going on underneath
Like a magnetic
that's,
field.
yeah, that's affecting the pressure in that area. So
And
that's
maybe
possible.
and maybe they use it like Stonehenge or ley lines to as like a base.
Yeah. Or what if it's like a rendezvous point?
Yes. Exactly.
Yeah. So like not
It's
necessarily a more permanent solution, but just say we're all going to meet here. What if they just had an extraterrestrial conference? We're all meeting over here at the Wells. Be there,
it's
8 o'clock.
it's Coachella for aliens.
Yeah, exactly. My thing with the being is they said the kids saw it, and that's the grandson. Now, I don't know how old, because it doesn't say how old the grandson is.
Yeah, because if he's 3 or 4, he'd be like, "I saw a big thing run across the field," and it's, "Did you though?"
Exactly. But at the same time, I'm like, and Michigan's up there by the Great Lakes. So there's a lot of crafts that people are reporting that are subaquatic.
Really?
Oh yeah, yeah. So maybe not so much in the Michigan, but like out like in the ocean and stuff, like those Tic Tacs or whatever that were coming out of the ocean. And there's all
Right.
kinds of people reporting this shit that's going in and out of the ocean. which things that fly should not be able to go under and over and under or whatever, or come out of the water and take off into the sky. But I feel like we've been seeing a lot or hearing a lot about these ones. That's why everybody has all this hype on the underwater base. There's underwater bases.
Right.
And I mean,
Human
the
or
great,
alien?
huh?
Human or alien?
Alien.
Wow. I was gonna
So
say,
that's
I don't think that's Elon. He's been having a few problems with his new little inventions and stuff like that. I don't
yeah,
think he's quite there yet to go above and below the water.
exactly. Pick one. Pick one. Just pick one. But I
Yeah.
feel like there's just a lot in the Great Lakes. I feel like there's a lot of just lore and everything in general with there's all kinds of stuff that comes out of that area, and I think there's something to it, whether it be creatures that are up there or the ocean, like, or the lakes. I don't know how deep they are. I've been on a part of one of them, and that's it, and it went on for, like, ever. Like, you couldn't even see. It was
Right.
just so I'm like, it very well could have it could be a base in and out or whatever.
Could be anything in there. I've heard about those Great Lakes. They're massive. It's
E
almost like an ocean in
exactly.
inland.
And what gets me about this too is that there were so many. Now, granted, he said they were like flying all over, but I don't, I struggle with the validity of this one. There's not as much description. It's, we saw a shit ton of lights. They were going everywhere. This kid who may be 3 years old, maybe 30 years old, we don't know, saw
Mhm.
this thing run across the yard really fast, so he didn't even get a good look at it because it was going really fast.
And the
So,
batteries went dead.
yeah, everything's just very vague. And I was like, "Oh, it's got a quarter of the battery left." If your indicator light doesn't show you, because usually cameras, like recording cameras, have blocks. It doesn't usually a recorder does not have your percentage amount, only your like cell phone would. On
Mm.
those ones, you have 3 little blocks. So it's like you have full battery and then you have the third, take away one, and you take away the next. So it could have been virtually almost dead anyway. He got 10 minutes of filming in and the battery did. Now, maybe he just didn't have a memory card in and he thought he did, or and he didn't want to look like an idiot. So he just said, "Oh, it didn't save it." He just throws one in real fast.
It could be that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I would
Skeptic
be
Sally over here.
interested
No,
to
no, mind me.
know. There must have been other witnesses if there were that many lights in the sky, like apart from his neighbors.
Exactly.
I would be
Exactly.
interested to know if anyone else
Let me
witnessed
see.
it.
Michigan UFO September 26, 2020. Oh, not 2014. So this one is at 10 a.m., September 27th and September 26th. Mystical Awakenings. This just says Michigan UFO Contact.
Mm.
Oh, it's an event. There's tickets.
Maybe it is just a hotspot.
Oh, wait a minute. Okay, let's also think about this. If all this hype is getting made up for an event,
Oh, yeah. It's a marketing plant.
either marketing plant or I wanted to see if it would tell me when this actual article came out. The article did not come out until May 18th, 2025. Now, it does say the
Okay.
Paulding Lights phenomenon also occurs in the same county in Michigan.
Mm.
And the guy who wrote this was Lon Strickler. He's a 14 researcher, also with their book ads at the bottom of the screen.
Mhm.
So he was on Phantoms and Monsters, and he's the one that reported it. Usually he's pretty legitimate, I feel, in his reporting. I wish that
Yeah.
there would be more. But again, this came out in May 18th. The event happened the same day that this happened. What if it's just a bunch of people with freaking drones because they're trying to see what's going on? You know what I mean?
Unless Lon Strickler heard this story at that event, went back to his hotel room and wrote it up
I
that night.
I just know that most of the time he's pretty accurate. Like he really does his research. When I saw
Mm.
that he wrote that, I was all about kiboshing this until I saw that he wrote it. And then I was like, yeah, I feel like a lot of times he does do a pretty good job with his research.
Lend
I
some legitimacy.
yeah, now but then again, if he's only given what he's given,
Mhm.
you can't squeeze blood from a turnip. And this picture, I have no idea where the picture came from. Is that photo at the
I think
top?
that picture is just a creepy pasta. Just
Gotcha.
I don't think that's actually connected with this.
And it
It's
just
your
all this
classic
is light
gray.
gray. But this is it's really tall.
Yeah.
So that's the
This
only
one
thing
is
that
almost that picture is almost like the Legend of the Rake. That
oh my
reminds me of
gosh.
the Rake.
This event that was UFO based, then I'm gonna tell you something right now. All right. It doesn't
Mm.
say how tall is. Again, this kid could be 3 years old and tall is 6 foot.
Everybody's tall.
Yeah, to me,
Which
well,
is
for me,
great.
everybody's still tall because I just stopped at 11.
Mm.
But I went to CryptidCon and I also went to the Atomic City Paranormal Symposium.
How
And
fun.
oh, it was a blast. But at both events, there were people in full get up, full alien suits. Like they looked legit.
Wow.
They were awesome people too. They'd like talk and stuff. You couldn't really hardly understand them though because they were in the mask. But go on my social media because two of them took one of my crocheted aliens and held it up and they were like saying, "Oh, it's my baby," because I told them I kidnapped all their kids. But what I'm
Yeah.
saying is, if somebody was dressed up in an outfit like that, I could totally see that. If only the kids saw it,
Yeah.
I can see that being a thing. Where
So
it's just a
if this
person
is in
dressed up.
Australia, we've got a cut and dry answer for what that is. It's a streaker. I don't know if you have streakers in America. It's when you have a big sporting event and someone runs
Naked
naked
people.
across the field. It's
That,
a it's a great Australian tradition.
but I feel like if there was streaking, and we do have streaking, by the way. Do you have skinny dipping?
Yes, of course.
Okay. If you have streaking, you got skinny dipping. All right.
I think it was
So,
a streaker.
but if he was
Case
streaking,
closed.
there would have more than likely there would have been a group of frat boys behind him laughing so loud that they could have heard it.
Whooping and hollering.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right.
So I feel like they could because it also had a weird head. He said it had a weird shaped head, a very
Yeah.
big weird shaped head. So it doesn't say how weird. Is it hammerhead? Is it gray
Yeah,
alien?
what is what is
Is it a
weird shape?
Picasso head? We don't know.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I would love for this to be a real thing with all the lights, but like you said, especially if there was an event the same day, 1,000,000%. If this was real, there would have been more. If they were there for a UFO conference
Mm.
and there were that many lights, there would have been a bazillion reports, a metric shit ton of
Mm.
reports.
Yeah. Yes.
Say it's cool. I like it. We'll wrap this up so you can get back to doing what you're doing because you're just starting your day. I'm ending my day. I'm going to take this makeup off. I already have no pants because we pod with no pants here on the show. So
What are you just chilling out for the night now?
I'm literally just in my friend's jersey.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. Hey, I was always told there's for a man, there's nothing sexier than watching your woman wear your shirt.
Oh, really?
That's what I have always been told. So I put it on instead of picture in it. uh, but again, Gemma, what I feel like I'm saying your name wrong every time I say it. It's so weird.
Gemma. Have you watched Sons of Anarchy? His
No.
the main guy, his mum's name's Gemma.
Oh, I have no idea. I don't really. I've been watching the last 4 seasons of Inuyasha. So I've been on anime kick. So I'm just basically a kid at heart. It's okay.
Yeah.
But definitely thank you for coming on again, everybody. I think my fridge is haunted and she filled out the thing because she kicks ass. So we're going to have all the links down in the description per the norm. So these links are going to be there. Her stuff's going to be there. Check her out. Listen, always leave a 5-star review because I only have 5-star guests. None of that 1-star bullshit.
Thank
So
you.
share, do all of that. But until next time, everybody, we'll see you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Cryptids, Creeps, and Conspiracy. If you wouldn't mind, please take a moment and give the show a 5-star review wherever you're listening. I know it might not seem like much, but it greatly helps the show and allows people to find us more easily. Also, head on over to www.patreon.com/cryptids, creeps, and conspiracy and subscribe to any of the tiers. Members of the Big Show tier get bonus materials, personalized shoutouts on the pod, ad-free episodes, access to the private Discord server, quarterly appreciation gifts, and a chance to be on the show. Not to mention video versions of the episode. Before you go, don't forget to click the link in the description and grab yourself or someone you know some self-designed merch by me, or make a donation to help keep the show going and fund future events and investigations. You can also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, Threads, and TikTok. If you have any questions, topic recommendations, or personal encounters, please send them to cryptidscreepsandconspiracy@gmail.com or submit them through the contact form at www.cryptidscreepsandconspiracy.com. I would love to hear from you and share your experiences on a listener episode. Just make sure that you specify that I have permission to add your encounter to the show and let me know whether or not you would like your real name read or an alias to maintain confidentiality. Thank you guys all again so much for your support. Until next time, my friends. See ya.